Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 205. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing there, Kevin?
Doing pretty good.
That's good. That's good to hear.
How are you doing?
I'm a little sick, honestly. Getting over the flu, so I may sound a little more nasally than usual. I apologize. I'm just going to get through it the best I can. I didn't want to miss a week of recording. This week on the show, we'll be talking about a newly released indie, Diamond Tongues. We're also going to be talking about some of what we've been watching on the watch list, movie predictions, new on video on demand, Blu-ray releases. Got a couple news things to start off with. Tonight is the Oscars.
Oh boy!
Well, Oscar action tonight. Oh. You got your ballot. You have your Oscar prediction ballot. You're gonna follow along with and check off the ones you got right. Your predictions.
No.
What? I don't either.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
I don't either. So I guess most of you have probably been following this the whole Oscar so white thing and all of the hoopla regarding the Oscars this year, just like the Oscars last year. Seems like they didn't really learn too much.
They learned nothing. Oh my goodness.
I'm not gonna talk about that because it's been drove into the ground by this point. But I did notice there was one interesting article that I read on IndieWire earlier this week, and it was that the Oscar the musical performances typically on the Oscars they have the artists who are nominated for Best Original Song. They have them perform said song. This year there's 5 nominees for Best Original Song, and they're only having 3 of them perform. The other 2 are not performing.
Correct.
Now, right off the bat, that's a dick move.
It is a dick move.
Why would you do that?
It's even worse that you're like, well, okay, who are the ones that are not performing? And of course, one of them is a transgender nominee. Mm-hmm. The first one in like 30 years. Yeah. So it's
only the second one ever, by the way.
It's like, you really learned nothing. You absolutely learned nothing. But then, to add insult to injury, within the same day, they're like, oh, we're going to have Dave Grohl perform. It's like, who the fuck wants Dave Grohl to perform?
Why? Why is Dave Grohl
He's not even nominated for anything.
Why is Dave Grohl performing? You could have easily filled in the Dave Grohl performance with one of these nominees, or probably both of these nominees.
Well, and it's just to go with Dave Grohl, which is just, why would anyone ever want to see Dave Grohl perform anywhere? It just doesn't make sense to me. Over Anthony, was actually nominated, who you have, like one of the greatest voices of all time. You can be like, no, I want Dave Grohl instead, because we're learning so much with the Oscars.
Yeah, I don't.
They just keep making it worse.
So the two songs that are not gonna be on the show tonight, Manta Ray is the name of the song from. You said it's pronounced Anthony, Anohni.
Oh yeah, that's right. She changed her name.
So it's
I forgot.
Like
Anhoney.
Anhoney and
is her name.
Ni?
Yes. I forgot that she changed her name.
Yeah,
that's Vinny and the Johnsons.
That's the song from Racing Extinction. There's a documentary that came out earlier this year, and then the other one was Simple Song number 3 from Youth, and that was would be performed by Sumi Jo, who is a Korean composer. Am I correct? Am I correct in saying that? I think I read that it's a South Korean composer.
Okay.
No, but those two are not going to be there.
No, we're getting Dave Grohl.
The ones that are going to be there: Lady Gaga, The Weeknd, and Sam Smith.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, performing songs from Spectre and 50 Shades of Grey. And I don't know what the Lady Gaga one's from. I can't even remember.
I think it wasn't. Hers was a documentary, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't even remember. I don't remember.
I think so. But yeah, that Sam Smith song. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what the hell? That song is awful. And I think there's a general consensus that that song is awful. Like, we're not the only
Yeah.
ones that believe that that song is terrible. I'm
No,
pretty
that song's
sure
just awful. That song is just
a
awful.
lot of people
I
came
would
out and
rather,
said that song's bad.
I would rather listen to a fan than that song.
An oscillating fan or a regular
Yes.
fan?
Any fan.
Oh,
Ceiling fan. Anything.
ceiling fan? Okay.
Sure. Any type of fan.
What about one of those kind of loud, annoying bathroom fans?
I'd fucking rock out to that
All right,
shit
all right.
instead of listening to that Sam Smith song.
Cool, gotcha. So the Oscars are on tonight. If you're interested, again, this is going to be the first year in a long time that I'm not. Not only am I not interested, but I'm not going to watch. So forget it. I'll post the winners up on the site as usual, but I don't think I'm going to be watching them live. Speaking of awards, the Independent Spirit Awards were on last night. Did you get a chance to look at the results of these?
I did because I knew you were going to ask me, and instead of saying no, I haven't.
Wow.
I actually did.
Did your homework.
You know, once in a while.
So what do you think of these results?
I'm not really surprised by much.
Really, there's only one big highlight. Maya Taylor winning Best Supporting Female for Tangerine. The only bit of the show that I actually watched was her acceptance or her thank you speech.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
Good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, she's the first transgender actress to win a major film award, so I think it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I would say so. I also like Abraham Attal winning.
Yeah, I heard his speech was good too, but I didn't see the whole. I didn't see any of the show actually. I kind of forgot that it was even on. But
It does air at an odd time.
yeah, and
it
it's on,
started at like 3:00 or something.
yeah, and it's on IFC, and it's I don't know. It's just a weird. It's always weird every year, but I might try to like go back and watch it this afternoon just to see, because it's always fun. It's always a fun award show to watch because it's just so much more laid back, and it's not censored or anything, and it's just better to watch than the Oscars in my opinion. Spotlight was the big winner that got
All about it.
5 awards.
I mean, the definition of indie.
Right. I don't see why it didn't win the Cassavetes Award too, because it was such a low budget, under the radar indie.
A bunch of fucking no names in that one.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just unbelievable.
Coming out of nowhere, coming out of nowhere.
Complete surprise.
Or like, who is this Tom McCarthy guy, and who are all these douchebags in this movie? I never heard of any of these people.
Mark Ruffalo?
What?
Michael Keaton?
Keaton?
Holy shit! I mean, talk about a guy that's been up and coming. Between Birdman and this, whoo, quite a career ahead of him.
Newcomer Michael Keaton. Anyway, so that got Best Feature, Best Director, Best Editing, Best Screenplay, and it also got the Robert Altman Award for Best Ensemble. I liked Spotlight quite a bit. I'm not sure if I would give it Best Director or Best Editing or Best Screenplay.
I would give it the Robert Altman Award.
Sure.
Because it's definitely an ensemble.
Yeah, I would give it that. I don't think that was the thing about that is like they just give that away. I don't think there's nominees for that category. I think they just give it to one movie.
Yeah,
every year.
But I just love that it's because the ensemble that they're able to put together is because they have money, which just seems odd to be an Independent Spirit Award. Yeah, but whatever. Best Ensemble should have went to fucking Stinking Heaven. That's what it should have went to. There's an indie movie with a good ensemble.
I feel like it should have went to Wet Hot American Summer, the Netflix series.
There you go.
I don't know. It's weird because I don't think of Spotlight as being independent at all. Like, to me, if you're nominated for some Oscars, you're not independent. Like, because I don't think that they would have even noticed you if you were. But also, it just doesn't. I want to know what the definition of this is. Like, what is the definition of independent according to film independent here? Like, is it like independently funded?
They just want people Their awards show.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like as the years have gone by with the Spirit Awards, the the term independence become very murky.
Yeah.
And I don't really know. It's hard to really complain because I did like Spotlight. I thought it was a great movie, and I think that it does deserve praise. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like when you have a heavy hitter like that comes in, these smaller movies like Tangerine just don't have a chance in hell.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't Carol. I mean, Carol got nominated for tons of awards, and it only won, I think, one for cinematography. And the cinematography was quite good in Carol. I still think It Follows had better cinematography.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's the Spirit Awards. And that's pretty much all I have for news as well. They did announce today that the new Wolverine movie is going to be rated R.
Why? Why do we need more Wolverine movies?
So, well, they've been planning the third Wolverine movie for a while. It's going to be the last one, and it's going to be the last, supposedly the last time Hugh Jackman is going to be playing Wolverine. He's been playing the role for 16 years.
This is ridiculous.
The funny thing is, they said that they had planned to make it R-rated from the beginning, and it wasn't because Deadpool was such a wild success. And I'm like, come on. Yeah, right, guys. There's no way you were planning on making Wolverine 3 rated R until you saw how successful an R-rated movie can be, and then you're like, okay, well, let's just go for it. Because I feel like they wanted to make the last Wolverine movie rated R, and they ended up wussing out. The last Wolverine movie was good. I mean, it was quite good.
I have to check it out then.
I think you would even like it, except for the end. The end is not great, and it kind of falls apart. But up until the end, it's great.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I don't really have any trailers to talk about this week either. So we can go ahead and just jump right into our review for the week. We're talking about Diamond Tongues, Canadian independent film, Canadian indie.
In the same vein, much in the same vein of Spotlight.
Yeah.
Just straight up indie.
I think this is going to be a first, comparing Diamond Tongues to Spotlight.
They just have that independent spirit, you know?
They do. They both do have that spirit. So this is directed by Pavan Mundi and Brian Robertson. I have a synopsis here. Edith dreams of being a successful actress but can't seem to make things happen. When she can't figure out what she's doing wrong, she begins to do everything wrong. This stars Leah Faye Goldstein, Nick Flanagan, Leah Wildman, Adam Gerfinkel. Kevin, you picked this one out this week, so let's start it with you. What'd you think of Diamond Tongues?
For the most part, I enjoyed it. I will say that it's a bit long, and it doesn't.
I thought so too.
It doesn't seem to.
That's weird.
To add or build anything along that runtime. So I don't know if that runtime's necessarily needed to be there.
It's an hour and 40 minutes, by the way.
It is an hour and 40 minutes, and it becomes a bit one note.
A little bit long in the tooth.
Because of it, yeah. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I thought the performance there from Leah Faye Goldstein was quite strong, which I think helped it out a lot. Kept things entertaining, interesting, especially the relationship that she has with her friend there, which I can't remember what that guy's name was. And I feel like an asshole. When they would just kind of hang out and banter.
Yeah. Was it Nick?
Was great.
Was Nick the guy?
It might have been Nick. I probably should have wrote that down.
I know who you're talking about. Unfortunately, the listeners probably don't know.
I have no idea. If you're to watch the movie, okay, throughout, there's these little breaks, little respites of her just kind of hanging out with a friend of hers, and they just shoot the shit, good time banter stuff going on, which I thought were the highlights of the film. Everything felt real, natural, and breezy.
Yeah. I liked this movie for the most part as well. I I thought that Leah Faye Goldstein's character, she was kind of an endearing character. You're never really sure if, at least I was never really sure if I liked her or not, because she had this kind of cute charm about her where it was hard not to like her, but at the same time she just seemed like a shitty person.
Well, yeah, and that's because you kind of figure out more and more of, well, number one, what she does, some of the choices that she makes, which are terrible choices and she should not be doing. So it's almost like it's almost as if they're trying to force you. Like, you kind of start out liking her and like, oh, she's just having a rough go of it and she's trying to make it and things are tough, but she keeps soldiering on. And then it's almost as if the movie has, she's doing these things and it's like, do you still like her? Are you sure you still like her?
Right. Yeah.
Almost making it difficult for you.
She is on kind of a downward spiral.
Yeah. To stay on her side. And then even having these like little things that go on throughout that you just think are just things that are happening, like the phone calls that she's getting. And then it's kind of unearthed what that's all about. What I mean? It's like throughout the whole thing, it just seems like a small thing. It's like, well, that's weird that she has to deal with that too.
Yeah, I thought that was a really, really great way to end the movie with that kind of reveal.
Yeah.
And that really worked for me. I was like, oh, it wraps everything up so nicely because it pretty much, like, that simple thing just encapsulates kind of her personality and her state of being.
Yeah, because then it makes you go, you see her in a completely different light.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're already working up towards that by, some of the actions that she makes. It already make you start to question her, but that kind of solidifies it as to, okay, I had to question everything now. It's just not a matter of what I've seen, but it's everything.
Yeah. Yeah, because at first it seems like, oh man, she's just, like you said, she's just having a rough go of things. She's really trying to make it. She's been at this. She's been trying to have her big break for the last 4 years. And, she is around her friends and her ex-boyfriend who has no interest in acting at all. And he's been acting for, what did they say? Like 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, like 3 weeks.
He's been acting for 3 weeks and he lands the lead in a feature. And it's like all of these people around her are all of a sudden becoming more successful than her. And she's just starting to crack from it. But then you start to realize, like, it's not just that's stressing her out. There's some kind of deeper issues at work here.
Yeah. And you start to realize that, she's not really, getting her break or, finding any sort of success. And it's not because of, people around her or anything like that. It all stems from her.
Right.
Really.
Right. Because she is, let's be honest, she's a terrible actress.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not her as in real life. I mean, the character.
Yeah, the character that she plays. She's not good. I mean, you don't get to see much of it, but at the same time, what little bit you do get to see, not that good.
I mean, just in the little rehearsal, like the 2-second rehearsal she does with her ex-boyfriend, Ben, he was so much better than her. It's like, no wonder he got the role and she is floundering.
Well, that, and you get a little bit of why she is that way, where, they're kind of showing her at home, running lines or whatever, and she runs line for like a minute maybe, and then she's like, I'm done. And then even her friends are like, hey, do you want...
Yeah, and she's like, no.
Do you want to work on this? And she's like, nah, I'd rather not. She's not putting in like any of the effort that she needs to be putting in. But then, she's going around and pointing the finger at everyone else, which I did appreciate, like at the very end where, they have this whole big scene of where she has this realization.
Right. That's exactly what I was just going to mention.
She is and what she's been doing.
I thought that what she
and the
said
way that
there,
that's handled, I thought was quite well too.
Yeah, I thought that what she said there was kind of poignant. I'm not going to repeat what it was for fear of spoilers, but I thought what she said there, when she kind of came to that realization, was pretty poignant. I liked that. So yeah, that worked for me too. But as far as like the tone, the visual style, all of that, this to me this felt like a pretty standard indie. I feel like there've been you could probably lump this with a lot of the kind of female centric indie comedies that we've been seeing lately.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Yeah, there's not much in the ways of cinematography that are going to really get you too excited. It's pretty standard fare.
There's some slow motion montages and stuff that happen.
Yeah,
Some music montages and things that
they
give it a
do
little
some
flare it up a little bit.
flare in there, drop some acid.
Yeah, there is an acid trip scene, and it's not annoying like most acid trip scenes that I see in movies.
No, because they do the best thing that when someone goes on a drug trip or something, you mute them and you don't get to hear what they're saying,
Right.
which is always a good thing.
Well, also, what a lot of movies tend to try to do is they try to show the acid trip from the perspective of the person that is tripping. So, you see the hallucinations and all that stuff. I'm more entertained by
you just see them
from the other, from the outsider, watching the person have the acid trip and act like an idiot.
Yeah, and I do
That's
enjoy
wonderful.
that her friend, the one that we were talking about they have the good banter and everything. He's a stand-up comic, and I guess he decides to do some stand-up
Yeah.
during the acid trip, and she joins him on stage.
Yeah, that was funny.
And does some stool work.
Some stool work.
Some stool work going there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, overall, pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And I did like her realization too, is when she finally gets like what she thinks might be her big break, when they're finally gonna screen one of her movies, which is called Diamond Tongues.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of has that realization afterwards that she is not good.
No.
And that movie looked ridiculous.
Yes. Yes, it did.
I wanted to see more of that movie, actually.
Yeah. Yes. As did I.
Because it seemed like a ridiculous The Room knockoff.
It did. Yeah. Did have shades of The Room in there. Because the other guy was pretty horrible, too.
Oh, he was even worse.
Yeah. So this is available to watch on Fandor.
You can get it on your Fandor there.
So if you have a Fandor account, can check that out. When did this come out originally?
I think it came out on like the 19th or something. Like a New York run. A little New York run.
Oh yeah, okay. So it had a little run here in New York on the 19th, a little limited release, and now it's on Fandor, so you can check it out there. It originally screened at the Slam Dance Film Festival last year. How did I miss this?
I don't know.
I thought I saw everything from last year's Slam Dance. Interesting.
You missed this one.
Yeah, I missed this one. Huh. Any final thoughts on Diamond Tongues?
I would suggest it.
Yeah,
definitely check it out.
Light recommend for me on this one. I enjoyed it. Was a little bit too long. It started losing me, but it pulled me back in by the end. So the finale, the way that they wrapped everything up, I thought was pretty solid. Good way to end it. So
I would agree.
Yeah, worth checking out. Let's give this thing a score. I'm gonna go ahead and give Diamond Tongues a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 6.5, 7.
All right, there you go. Check it out. Diamond Tongues.
Diamond Tongues.
Diamond Tongues.
Not to be confused with Silver Tongues.
Don't do it.
So actually, Silver Tongues is supposed to be pretty good.
Okay.
Another indie. You got all sorts of tongues going on in the indie world.
Tongues for days. Let's talk about some of what we've been watching. Kevin, you're up this week. And I noticed that you did not update your diary on Letterboxd, so I have no idea what you've watched.
Whoops. And I can't quite remember where I stopped off on the last show, because I had so much stuff, and I thought like, oh, this watch list is running kind of long, so I'll stop it here. But I don't think I talked about Death by Hanging.
No.
1968's Oshiba. This is... And I reviewed this because I did a Criterion Blu-ray review for this one. And then after I wrote that review, I was like, oh, let me watch the movie. So Death by Hanging Yeah, just a heads up. When I do Criterion reviews, I don't watch the movie. I just watch the special features. That's it. That's all you
You
should. That's all you
honestly,
should care about, right? I mean,
honestly,
if you're going to buy the DVD, you should either
already know the
already
movie.
you already know the movie and you like it. I'm not going to review the movie. That seems pointless.
Yeah, Blu-ray reviews are product reviews. That's what they are. If you want to know if the movie's good or not, read a review about the movie.
Yeah, because I mean, it came out in '68, so there's plenty of writings about death by hanging.
I do.
Hell, you
I
can
do.
even just go on the best thing if you just go on to Criterion where they have like pretty much all the essays you can just read on the website for the movie. You know, the ones that's going to be included on the Blu-ray itself or the DVD, whatever one you buy. You could just read that.
Yeah.
And Death by Hanging, I would go out and say that this is probably one of my, out of all the Oshibas that I've seen so far, this is one of the best. It's incredibly dense. There's so much going on in this movie. It's just incredible how much he's able to pack into this. Cinematography is gorgeous, and the transfer that Criterion does, I mean, it is pristine, so crisp, black and white. And he goes over, he dips his toes into like the nature of existence, Japanese-Korean relations, Japanese imperialism, issues of accountability, it's like a discussion on the death penalty, religions in there. I mean, it has so many things packed into this. And it essentially what the story is that there's this Korean prisoner and it's day of his execution. He's going to be hanged. They hang him, but he doesn't die. But they already did his last rites and everything, and his soul's with God now. So he's essentially a soulless man. And then when he comes back to, he doesn't recognize himself as the person that he is. So they essentially have to go through this they have to make him realize who he is in order for them to do a do-over essentially and hang him again. So they're desperately trying to prove this man's existence to him in order that they can hang him again, so that they can kill him and get it right this time in their minds. And then it all gets you got all that going on, and then he puts in this like black comedy to it, which it's a lot funnier than it should be, or really has any right to be, but he mixes it so well. And then it even gets a bit bizarre towards the end where, we're having hallucinations and stuff. And I mean, it's incredible. I would definitely check it out.
Cool. And that's Death by Hanging, out now on Criterion. And if you want to know if the Criterion's worth getting, read Kevin's review.
Which it is worth getting.
There you go. So I didn't see a lot of stuff this week. I've been, when I have the flu, it's like, basically all I did this week was sleep. So I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of stuff. I watched Blood Diner from 1987, directed by Jackie Kong.
Blood Diner?
Yeah. This is an interesting one. First they eat you, or first they greet you, then they eat you. Oh, fuck that up. First they eat you, then they greet you. So this is such a weird, it's kind of an 80s horror comedy of sorts. Basically, these two brothers, they have this crazy Egyptian uncle who ended up murdering a bunch of women, and then the cops shot him. And the two brothers, when they get older, they dig up the corpse of their uncle and they pull out his brain and his eyeballs and like somehow cast some spell to bring him back to life, sort of. But he's like in a jar, and then they try to awaken some sort of Egyptian goddess for some reason.
Okay.
And to do that, they have to do all this weird stuff. First of all, the diner is a vegetarian diner, which I think is really funny. And one of the patrons, his name's Vitamin.
All right.
It's just a weird ass movie. One really funny thing that happens at the beginning that just kind of just sets the mood for everything. They're digging up their uncle, and the cemetery night watchman finds them, and the one brother conks the guard on the head with a shovel, and he hits him so hard that the guy's eyeballs pop out of his head.
What?
And it's just so funny because you're just like, oh, okay, this is the kind of movie we're about to see here. It's a weird ass movie.
It sounds but so like, why are they? So they're trying to get it to restore an Egyptian goddess.
Yeah, and then what they're trying to do is they're trying to put their their uncle's soul, I guess, into this Egyptian goddess for some reason. And to do so, first they have to kill a whole bunch of women, and then they take different body parts from those women and kind of sew them together like a Frankenstein's monster type thing. And then after that, they have to complete the ritual by having this feast, and they have to prepare this very specific meal for this feast.
Yeah.
So they have to go around and collect different body parts and things like that to make this meal, this feast, and then they have to get all these people involved. So there's this gay club that they frequent, and they feed everyone like appetite enhancers, and they all get really hungry at this nightclub, and then they start eating this stew made up of body parts, and then the people, I guess, there's some sort of spell that get cast on them, and they turn green, and then they just start eating each other randomly. They sort of turn into zombies almost. But then when the goddess awakens, she has this giant mouth in her stomach, and she eats people through the mouth in her stomach.
What in God's name is going on?
But she can also like shoot lightning from her hands, and she just randomly kills people with her lightning hands. Like, she picks random people out of the audience and kills them with her lightning
that comes from her hands.
It's a weird ass movie. It is a weird ass movie. It makes no sense.
Insane.
Yeah, I recommend it because it's just so strange and out there.
80s were a weird time, weren't they?
Yes, absolutely. It's a weird ass movie. A lot of kind of like rockabilly. There's this one scene too where the one brother, he's driving somewhere in a van, and he sees this biker guy on the side of the road. His bike broke down on the side of the road. So the brother runs over the biker guy, but the biker guy doesn't die, and he gets back up. And of course he's a fat biker too, so it's even funnier because he's fat. So there's a minute-long scene of this guy running over and backing up and running over, and just he keeps running over this guy over and over, and he survives for some reason. And it's like, why did you dedicate so much time to this? I don't understand. And then there's a scene where they're trying to get into the club, and the bouncer's giving them a problem, so they just like grab the bouncer and throw him out into the middle of the street, and he lands on the ground, and there's a car that's pulling up that has hydraulics, and the tire lands on top of the bouncer and destroys his head, smashes his head. And I was like, holy shit, they just killed that guy. And the people in line to get into the club, they start laughing and clapping. And it's like, whoa, this guy just got killed. That is not the reaction you all should be having in this situation.
Damn, this club sounds... Damn.
It's called Dread, I think. The club is called Dread.
Dread.
It's a weird ass movie. I definitely recommend checking it out because it's just strange. Blood Diner.
None of what you just said about that movie makes any sense to me, which oddly enough makes me really want to see it.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Another one that I watched, this was on No Budge, and this one didn't make much sense either. It's called New Cops, which it's kind of like one of those short feature type things, like 52 minutes, 54 minutes, somewhere in the 50 range. It's just absurdity all around. Essentially, just the filmmaker. He's the main character, Timothy Morton. He is he's just a guy not really doing anything with his life, and he's not exactly sure what's going on with his girlfriend. Hasn't seen her for a while, can't get a hold of her, and he's starting to think that she's with somebody else. And so you have three things going on here in this movie. You have one is just him kind of doing nothing, except for his friend comes and stays with him for a little bit, and his friend gets him into all sorts of odd things where he just pretty much goes around and collects garbage and sells it on Craigslist. And he has this like coupon scam that he's got going on at Kroger's and other places. And when main character takes some naps or goes to sleep, he has this lives in this fantasy world where he's the president of the United States, but it doesn't really look any different. He's just referred to as the president, but it looks a lot like his real life, and he doesn't really do anything there either. He's just the president. But he does hire a guy to try and find his girlfriend. And the name of the film, where it comes from, is him and his buddy watch this show called New Cops, which makes the fake show that they watch makes no sense to me whatsoever. And they just show clips here and there. But I want to see this show so badly because it makes no sense. I'm instantly intrigued because they're new cops, but I don't know if they're actually cops because the main guy in the show is always in a bathrobe. And they're always doing it. Yeah, and they're talking about the avian flu for some reason and the dick flu. And I don't know exactly what's going on in the show, but it seems like a good time. And it's just, it has its moments. I'll give you that. And it has they have a pretty good eye for absurdity, and it's even, they bill it as like a labor of laziness. It's been made over like a couple of years and they just kind of threw it together, which you can definitely tell. And it kind of works in its favor because it kind of plays into the absurdity of all of it. But at the same time, it does kind of have a feel of like just a couple of guys dicking around with the camera at times. So it's like a light recommend. Number one, because it's not that much time, and it is pretty entertaining, and it is pretty funny. So it's like a light recommend on New Cops, which you can watch for free on No Budge.
All right, check it out. I'm probably gonna watch this because I don't want to say anything. Yeah, I'll probably be watching this one maybe this week. Maybe I'll even try to fit it in today.
Hey,
because I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, that looks pretty funny.
Yeah, and that's pretty much I imagine that's going to be your reaction while watching it.
Hey, this is pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like at the end of the day when you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't overly hilarious, but at the same time you're like, it was under an hour and it's just like thrown together over the course of a couple of years. You know, you can't really be that upset by it.
Yeah. Again, that's New Cops. I saw The Decline of Western Civilization, this is from 1981. It's directed by Penelope Spheris.
This is also on Fandor, I think.
Yes, this is on Fandor. I watched this on Fandor. So this is basically, it's very very famous documentary about the punk scene in Los Angeles in 1979 and 1980. So she filmed this over the course of 1 year, and it's sort of like a concert documentary a little bit. The way that she does is she kind of interviews different bands that were around in LA during this time, and then it'll have like maybe 2 or 3 songs from each band and have like a live performance from each. It's really well put together. I was kind of surprised. I really liked how this was shot because she also interviews fans, like people from the audience and things like that. And it's just this it kind of works as a time capsule film where it's almost like kind of reminded me of like a heavy metal parking lot where it was just this. You can go back. This is going to be a film that stands up. Like people are going to watch this 50 years from now when they're trying to research, the history of music and stuff. Because it just so perfectly encapsulates the time period and everything that was going on with the surge in punk music during this time. And it's got some great performances in here. We've got some Black Flag, like early Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Fear, Germs, back when Pat Smear was in the Germs before he did his little Foo Fighters action.
Foo Fighters.
So good performances. I'm a huge fan of punk music, so this was one that I've been meaning to watch for a really long time, and just finally got around to watching it. And it's definitely good. I mean, I'm
kind of surprised that you haven't seen this before.
I know. This
is like such your wheelhouse.
I know. Yeah, it's been on my watch list forever. So I was scrolling through Fandor, and I was looking to continue my 52 films by women list, and this came up, and I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. I guess I can just transition that into, I watched part 3 also. So I watched The Decline of Western Civilization part 3. This came out in 1998. I did not watch part 2 because that's all about heavy metal. And I watched that hugely long anthology on the history of heavy metal last year. So I didn't want to, I'm done. Like I'm done with the whole metal thing. I don't really even like heavy metal that much. So, this one is interesting. Part 3 doesn't follow the bands as much as it does the punk culture and how it's kind of evolved from, the early 80s to the mid 90s. I think, what is it? I can't remember what year this takes place. I think it's, like 96, like mid 90s, somewhere in there. And it kind of just follows around a big group of homeless punks that live in LA. They're all young too. They're all like 16, 17 years old. And it kind of explores the whole gutter punk movement which is still a thing. Like, I live by St. Mark's, which is a really famous street, and there's still gutter punks that live on St. Mark's, where they just sleep on the streets. You probably see them if you live in New York or LA. It's like they're always wearing their punk garb, and they always have, inevitably one of them will have a dog with them. But so she kind of follows around this group of gutter punks. I don't think they like to be called that, but but yeah, part 3 was I guess it was just as good. I think I liked them equally. They definitely had a different message. I think that the third part was more, the first part was more a look at the music itself and the kind of philosophies and the ethos behind the music. And then the third part, it explores that, but it looks more at the kind of backstory of these kids and looks at homelessness as well, because all these kids are obviously homeless.
Yeah.
So I think that both parts are well worth checking out. It's interesting to see how little things change in that amount of time. One thing that slightly annoyed me about part 3 was that you constantly hear Penelope Spheris like asking ridiculous questions and kind of like butting in and getting involved. And it gets really annoying because you never see her, but you just imagine that it's this kind of like older, kind of motherly, like straight-laced motherly figure behind the camera that's like, what are you doing? Like, and it's just, I don't know. It kind of felt weird at times. It didn't feel like it was a cinema verite, fly on the wall type thing. Yeah. It felt like she was kind of looking after all of these kids at times. But I mean, it's still well worth a look, and it's pretty sad. But yeah, just if you're interested, all 3 of the Decline films are on Fandor. So if you have Fandor, you can watch all 3 of them.
We're essentially just a commercial for Fandor.
Yes, basically, because my last movie that I'm going to mention is also on Fandor.
I watched another Criterion, and that's Mike Leigh's Life is Sweet from 1990, which I honestly could have watched this movie forever. These characters are just so fantastic and so fun to watch. And it's wonderful in the sense that there's not really much going on in this movie. There's not really like a plot to it. It's just people living their days. But it's so damn funny and fun. But at the same time, and Mike Lee is so great at doing this. Not only is it fun and entertaining and humorous and stuff to watch these people, and everyone feels so natural, and the banter and the interactions and the chemistry. I mean, it's all through the roof. But the way in which he's able to just like transition between, being in the middle of like a funny comedic bit, and then all of a sudden it just turning, this twinge with sadness, or, it becomes tragic or something like that. It's just, I don't know if there's anyone else that does it quite as well as he does. And that's what he does in this movie. And I mean, it is just the seamless transitions between the tones. It's just unbelievable. And you keep expecting like something to happen, like, for like a plot to be injected into this. And it never does. You're just spending time with these people. And you were like, Jim Broadbent is fantastic to watch. Timothy Spall's character in this movie is utterly ridiculous. The clothes that he wears a big San Francisco Giants bomber jacket and sweatpants, and like he's got like high tops on. He's ridiculous, and he's opening up this fresh French fry with like the absolute worst menu you've ever heard in your life. And he's just an all around just bizarre character, and the way in which he talks. Yeah, I mean, he's just ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to watch this.
But, oh my god, you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it.
Yeah,
and it's just Jim Broadbent's wife in this movie, played by Alison Steadman. She's fantastic. The way that she just reacts to everyone throughout this movie is just, oh my god, I could watch it forever. I love these characters so much.
Yeah, this seems like a good Sunday afternoon watch.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I think I'll have to check that. Kind of on the pretty much opposite spectrum of like happy and sweet and fun is a documentary I watched called The Advocate For Fagdom.
Okay.
This is directed by Angelique Bossio. It's a documentary about Bruce LaBruce, the director.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Bruce LaBruce, right? We actually had Ryan watch one of his movies on Ryan.
I know of. I haven't seen any of his movies though.
I've only seen, I think, one of his movies. I saw Auto or Up with Dead People. Those are the only other ones I saw. So Bruce LaBruce is this. He's kind of the Canadian John Waters. That's a lot of people refer to him as the Canadian John Waters. He's this underground filmmaker. He's one of these guys that blurs the lines between porn and art. He likes extremes. Like a lot of his movies have unsimulated gay sex in them, and it's a lot of his movies are kind of shocking. Like I can't remember what. Hold on, let me look up the name of the movie because I can't remember. In one of his movies, he has there's a scene where someone's jerking off onto Mein Kampf.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what to think about this guy. Like, I don't particularly like his movies, at least from the clips that I've seen. No Skin Off My Ass. That's the name of the movie where the guy jerks off onto Mein Kampf. Like, I don't think his movies are particularly good, but I also kind of respect the guy for just doing his own thing. And he's kind of the one who is largely credited with the whole what's it called, homocore movement. And this documentary just kind of goes over his work and his philosophies, and it talks to other people like John Waters and Harmony Korine and Gus Van Sant who are like fans of his work. And one interesting thing that I found out was that it was Kurt Cobain who kind of got Bruce LaBruce known, kind of got his name on the map, because Kurt Cobain saw one of his early movies and was like a big fan, and he told Gus Van Sant that he was a big fan of this guy Bruce LaBruce, and that kind of got his name out there.
Would have never guessed that.
Yeah, it was just kind of an interesting little tidbit that I learned from this documentary. It's an okay documentary. If you're not familiar with Bruce LaBruce or you're interested to learn about Bruce LaBruce, I'd say check it out. But as far as the documentary itself, it's fine. It's just your pretty typical talking head stuff. Lots of clips from his movies. If you don't want to see unsimulated gay sex, then I'd say avoid it. But if you don't mind seeing little clips of that stuff, maybe worth checking out. See what expose yourself to. If you like Harmony Korine and John Waters, these types of directors that are kind of pushing the boundaries, then Bruce LaBruce might want to check him out.
Get on that Bruce LaBruce.
Bruce LaBruce.
That's such a great name.
Yeah,
I love that name.
It's funny because there's like 5 different meanings behind the name Bruce LaBruce,
which I take it they go over in the documentary.
Yeah, because like he grew up in his first name really is Bruce, but then he also grew up in Bruce County, so it's like Bruce of Bruce County. Oh. That's one version. The other one is that like a lot of gay people are named Bruce, so he wanted to be like the. Actually, I don't know if his first name is Bruce. Now that I think about it, I don't know if his name really is Bruce.
Now it is.
Yeah,
he made it happen.
Yeah. Either way, it's slightly interesting. I don't know if I will ever be actively seeking out any of his other movies, though. I think Auto or Up with Dead People is enough. And just watching the clips from, like, one of the other ones that he did was called Hustler White. And it was just about these, like, prostitutes wearing white jeans.
That sounds interesting. To build an entire film around that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I watched Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, okay.
Checked out Straight Outta Compton, which I was confused because a lot of people said that this was good, and it's awful.
Oh, I didn't think it was awful.
It's a straight up terrible movie. It's just bad. And I can't believe that this, like, the number one thing that's terrible about this movie, like, everything else is just kind of, like, the acting's pretty good. I'll give you that. The acting's pretty good. I enjoyed the acting. Cinematography's serviceable. It's all right. But the worst aspect of this movie is the writing, which is why it gets nominated for an Oscar. But holy shit, the writing in this movie is god awful. It's just so bad. Now, I already was going to have a little bit of trouble going into this one because of the, going in knowing that they're not going to discuss or even allude to or, anything of Dr. Dre and how, his violence towards women and everything, which, okay, I already kind of knew that going into.
Well, they do allude to it. They do briefly allude to it during that one scene when he kicks that one girl out of the hotel.
Yeah.
That's the only even slight reference.
Yeah, but
what do you expect when the movie's basically made by them?
That's what I mean. I know that they have a lot of input into it, so obviously it's going to be a little revisionist going in. But holy shit, like, he, outside of, as bad as the omission of his like domestic violence and everything, but the way in which he's framed in this movie is just ridiculous. I mean, the little bits that he does have of interacting with women are all just ridiculous and unnecessary. Like where he approaches that one girl at their Wet and Wild party, and he's like, "Oh, are you leaving?" Like, it's a small interaction, and then like a little bit later on in the movie, he's like, they're out on a date, and he's like, "Oh, you want to call me up to your room?" She's like, "No, my son's the most important thing." And then it just ends there. It's like, oh, poor Dre just can't get a break. Like in the beginning where he's like, his girl leaves with their kid, and he's just like, "Oh, you got to be patient. I'm just working, trying to make this money." And then even all the interactions with Suge, he's incessantly appalled, just absolutely appalled by Suge Knight's behavior. Like, oh my goodness. what did I get myself into? And then they even have like he gives a fucking rousing speech like while they're, and I mean they make it cartoonish where it's like dog fighting and they have a guy with his in nothing but tighty whities forcing a guy to give it like a toast, and Dr. Dre's got to come in and be like, "You guys are ridiculous." It's just, and it's like, come on, you didn't have to ramp it up to 11, man. Jesus. But the first thing that I knew that this was going to be bad is when he gets out of jail and he's on the steps and whatever, and he's talking about, they gotta do something with this music, man. And he just like flat out says to Eazy, he's like, what would you call something like that? What would you call it? What name would you give it? And during this whole scene, it's just cut back and forth, back and forth. But when he asks that question, it goes to handheld, and we take our good old fucking time looking over at Eazy-E, essentially saying like, "Yeah, Eazy, what would you call it?" And Eazy's like, "Ruthless." And it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And then even like the way that they end it, where Suge's like, "Yeah, what are you gonna call your record label?" It's like close up. He's like, "Aftermath," and then it's like, boom, roll credits. It's like, are you shitting me? This is ridiculous. And then them getting harassed outside of thing, and then it comes in. Cube just all of a sudden, boom, he wrote "fuck the police."
Yeah,
like in a matter of like 1 minute, he's just like, "Look, guys, I got a new song." It's like, are you kidding me? I know it's a lot to like jam into one movie, but oh my goodness, it's all handled so poorly. I mean, it's still exciting because naturally it's a good story. They're right, but it's an over glamorized like behind the music. Really, it's like a VH1 reenactment.
Yeah. I'd say it's a little bit higher, a little bit of a higher production value than like a made-for-TV movie. But
yeah,
there's a really funny trailer.
Yeah, just they recut it.
Yeah, where it's only Paul Giamatti and they put in the inspiring music. That's the Oscar trailer. That's amazing.
It is, because it's true. But yeah, I mean, it was terrible. I thought it was just terrible.
It's a shame. I remember liking it. I remember, I'm pretty sure that I have the proof to back it up. I'm pretty sure that when I talked about this on the show, I said I don't understand why I didn't like it as much as everybody else. Pretty sure.
I think you might be right. Because I think I do remember you kind of talking about them maybe having a bit too much input. Because, I mean, they make Dr. Dre look like he just can't catch a break and he's just the greatest guy ever and he's just trying to do his thing. He's just trying to work, man. He's in the booth with Tupac. He's just grinding. Everyone else is fucking up constantly, man. It's just ridiculous.
Well, they're already working on a sequel, so.
And then my other favorite thing was like to throw in that Ice Cube's working on Friday. He's just sitting at his little laptop. He's like, "You got knocked the fuck out."
Oh God, yeah.
This is funny. And she's like, "How's Friday coming?" It's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, who wrote this? Oh my God.
It reminds me, I attempted to watch that American Crime Story, the O.J. Simpson series that's on FX right now.
Yeah.
Because people are hyping that up. Like, critics are liking it. Lots of people are talking about it. And I'm like, all right, I'll check this out. And I'm like, this is the worst crap. Like, all it is like, hey, this is Kim Kardashian when she was like a little kid. And it's just like, because O.J. Simpson was like friends with Robert Kardashian.
Yeah.
And when he was kind of like when he was kind of hiding out when all the shit was going down, he was staying at their house.
Oh, okay.
So like, and O.J. Simpson is actually the godfather of the Kardashian girls.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. That's one of the things that made them semi-famous at the beginning before they became like super famous.
So that's I shouldn't check out the O.J. Simpson.
No, it's terrible. God, I don't understand why everybody's loving it. It's so bad. it's just nonstop references like, oh, remember this? Remember this? Like, oh, these are the Kardashians again. Hey, like there's way too much Kardashian. They're like 4-year-old or not 4. They're like 10-year-old girls, and it's like they have so little to do with this story. And it's like, why are they in it so much?
But they're the only ones that are relevant right now. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I watched. So yesterday was my wife's birthday, and she wanted to watch a movie. So you're thinking, right? It's your birthday. You're thinking you're gonna like rewatch a favorite, or you're gonna watch a fun movie, comedy, something. So it's like, what do you want to watch? It's your birthday. You get to pick. What do you want to see? And she wanted to watch The Look of Silence, which seems like an odd choice for a birthday movie.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
But we ended up watching The Look of Silence, which is on Netflix Instant now. That's where we saw this. This was, oh my goodness. I don't understand like how to even discuss this. It's just the amount of like brainwashing that took place in this country is just unbelievable. Like every single person he interviews, they say like the same thing. It's like they have quotes just ready to go. I mean, every single person is like, the past is the past. Just leave it be.
Yeah, it's
or they try and frame it like, oh, you're talking about politics now. Stop talking about politics. I don't like to talk about politics. But the fact that they killed all of these people, and the way in which the country was able to get, its citizens to do all the work for them, and just being over, the army's just like kind of overseeing it, but not actively getting involved, because then it would have been much bigger than what it was. And just the way that they recount these things, and they show like no regret whatsoever, because in their minds they think that they're fucking heroes, and it's just insane because of communism, because they thought these people were communists.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Between this and the act of killing, it's just, none of it makes sense to me. And I just essentially just sit there like with my jaw open as far as it can be, just dead-eyed, just screaming inside my head, because I can't wrap my head around it.
I haven't been able to bring myself to watch this one yet. I fully intend to. I can't find the right. It's never going to be the right time.
No, it's never going to be. And just the way in which it's framed, I mean, one of the survivors, his brother was murdered before he was born. He was born like 2 years later after his brother was murdered. And he goes, Joshua Oppenheimer takes him to the people that killed his brother, and he essentially interviews them and tries to, he just wants to see if they have like any ounce of regret. Because he thinks that at least if they realize what they've done and they show some regret, then he might be able to forgive them. But the way which they respond to him is just, it's unbelievable. And he has, a lot of the shots are just him sitting in a chair watching like footage that he gathered from, I guess, the act of killing, or the other movies that he's been working on. So he's just sitting there watching these people recount the way in which they killed his brother, and it is, whew.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They fucking, like, they're just laughing the whole time, like it's the greatest thing they've ever done in their life.
Yep, it's crazy. Just the whole situation that occurred over there is just crazy.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't wrap my head around it.
It's also crazy that it's not more widely known. Like, why is this not like a big, like they're not teaching it in schools or anything? Like why is that? I feel like this is an important thing that we need to.
They even show too, because the guy that's going around and meeting with the people that killed his brother, he has 2 kids, and they actually have footage of his oldest son while he's in the classroom, and like what he's being taught about this period in their history and the communists and everything. And everything that he's being taught about it, and then it's followed up by, he's kind of recounting it to his dad, and his dad's kind of telling him the truth of what actually happened. It's just like the way in which they frame it is just, it's it's the best thing they've ever done in the history of their country.
I have a feeling that I think that'll fade over time. I think they'll realize at some point that this is an awful thing. I bet it was the same way. I bet the same thing happened in Germany. Like, I bet for a while they either didn't talk about it or tried to spin it or something like that, and now they fully like cop to it. That's actually one interesting thing that they talk about in Where to Invade Next.
Yeah. Oh, the look of silence. My goodness. And then with the craziest thing that happens is they have this superstition, the people that killed all these quote unquote communists, is that what they had to do is they had to drink the blood of the people they killed so that they wouldn't go insane. Because if you don't drink their blood, then you go crazy and you're not going to be able to survive what you're doing. So these guys are just like, yeah, we, filled up a glass and just, you had to drink their blood. That way I wouldn't go crazy. And they're just saying it like it was completely normal.
Well, that's interesting. They didn't talk about that in the act of killing.
No. And there's even the guy, he's like sitting there with his daughter and he's recounting everything. And the guy looks at her, he's like, did you know that your dad like drank the blood of his victims? And she's like, no, I didn't know that. That's kind of disturbing. It's like, holy fucking shit, yeah. It's like the most disturbing thing ever.
Yeah.
But they talk about it like it's hard science. Like, that's what you have to do. Like, if you're killing a whole bunch of people, you got to drink their blood or you're going to go crazy. And they even, like, numerous times, they're like, thank God I drank their blood. That way I didn't go crazy.
Oh, God. All right.
So that's how we celebrated her birthday.
No, sounds like a, all right.
It's an odd choice.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's all I got.
That's all you got. All right. All right. Let's talk about some predictions. Last week, Gods of Egypt.
Ooh.
You said 5. I said 18. Actual 13.
Ooh.
999. You said 64. I said 62. Actual 54.
Okay.
And Eddie the Eagle. You said 52. I said 46. Actual 73.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Still not going to go see it.
No, never.
But good on them. Next week we have London Has Fallen.
London Has Fallen looks like one of those fake movies that would show up in another movie, like that they would be watching on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
This is not a real movie. How is this a real movie?
I have yet to even see a trailer for this. So,
and is this a sequel?
Yes. Yeah.
To what was the other one called?
Olympus?
Yeah,
Olympus. Olympus Has Fallen.
Didn't that one bomb?
I don't think it was. Now there were 2 that came out. There were 2. There was 2.
There was a Channing Tatum one, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a Channing Tatum one, and then there was the other one. One was a Roland Emmerich, but I don't remember which one.
This movie looks so terrible.
Either way, this one does not look good. That's two Gerard Butler movies in 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Killing it in the choice February month.
He is like one of the worst. Like, all of his movies are just terrible.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna say 23 on this one.
I'm gonna say 4.
All right. We also have Knight of Cups, the new Terry Malick movie.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What do you think about this one? Are you excited for this one?
Yes and no. I mean, it looks amazing, but his trailers always make it look.
I know.
It's just like the greatest thing you're ever going to experience in your life.
I think every Terrence Malick movie should be 3 minutes long max. And then he would be the best director ever, and he would have the best movies ever if they were all 3 minutes long.
He's the greatest short film director in the entire world. But I have a feeling that this is going to have a lot of great poetry in it, by which I mean awful.
Well, you can, I mean, even the trailer has it, so you know it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Plus the subject matter at hand, it's going to be awful.
Well, I imagine we're going to be reviewing this next week, so.
Okay. I'm gonna say like a 68.
68. All right. I'll say 59 on this one. We also have Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, the Tina Fey one. Not so sure about this one. I'll say 62.
Say 54.
I might check it out. Might be good for chuckle or two.
Chuckle or two.
Zootopia is the last wide release. This is Disney? I think it's Disney. Yeah, it is. It's Disney. It's the Disney Animation Studios or whatever. The guys, the team behind Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay.
Doing this one. I'm mildly interested in this. There are a couple funny bits in the trailer. So, what are you thinking on the Zootopia?
Zootopia. I'm gonna say 78.
All right.
Oh man, it's like a city of animals wearing clothes.
Say,
guy's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
What?
I'll say 81 on that one. Looks funny. I think it'll be enjoyable. I'm a little more interested in the what is it? The Secret Lives of Pets or something like that. I think it's a dream, not DreamWorks, but the people behind the Minions, Illumination or whatever.
Oh, okay.
That movie looks interesting because I'm a dog guy. So,
dogs.
By the way, the new HBO show Animals. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's an animated show from the Duplass brothers.
No. What's this all about?
Look it up. It's all about animals living in New York City. And the last week's episode was all about dogs, and it was freaking fantastic. It was so funny. It's a great show. Every episode is about a different animal living in New York. So you'll have like rats. There's a cat one, which was
I do
funny.
like like the little synopsis just says a rat invents pants, which
that's going to be. I think
I need to see that.
Yeah, that's this week's episode. I think and the episode that's going to be airing this week. Yeah, it's a good show. I'm definitely into it. In limited release next week, we have Emily. That's a horror movie that I quite liked. I saw this last year at Tribeca. So it's been almost a year since I've seen that, but I think I want to watch it again. It's about a babysitter that turns out to be pretty evil.
Oh, man.
She's got some ulterior motives with these kids, and she does some dark things.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I'd recommend checking that out. The Other Side of the Door, that's a horror movie, but I'm not sure what's going on in it. Road Games, that's a horror thriller that I'm actually pretty interested in checking out. Ava's Possessions, another horror movie that I'm actually really interested in.
It's all just horror movies?
Yeah, there's a lot of horror movies coming out next week, and I'm pretty excited. Ava's Possessions looks really interesting. After we're done recording, you should check out a trailer for this one. It's sort of like this. So it's like this girl who she was possessed by a demon, but she doesn't remember like what happened while she was possessed. So it's sort of like The Hangover in a way, but she was possessed by a demon. So she's trying to figure out like what happened when she was possessed.
Okay, all right.
It looks really weird and kind of surreal.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking that out. I think there was a couple other ones. The Wave, that's a disaster. It's a disaster film, and then Cemetery of Splendor.
Oh my god!
All right,
I want to see that. I want to see it so bad.
Somebody's excited about Cemetery of Splendor.
I want to see it so bad. Pitch pong.
Pitch pong. Wii receptacle.
Can't wait. Can't wait to get some of that.
Next week on Video On Demand, pull up my list. A lot of the limited ones that I just mentioned are going to be on there. Where's my calendar? Oh, there it is. We have The Wave, Road Games, Emily, Ava's Possessions, and Dirty Singles.
Okay.
On Tuesday, a film called Term Life comes out as well. So starting to get up there with the VOD releases. 2016's in full swing, so we're starting to see more of those come out. Blu-ray next week. We have a Blu-ray release of the 1982 film Pieces. I started watching this actually just a few weeks ago, but I fell asleep. But I was really digging what I was watching before I fell asleep. It's a really messed up slasher movie. Creed. I haven't seen Creed yet. Everybody's like, "Oh, go see Creed."
I know. So, I'm kind of looking forward to Creed.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out hopefully this week.
Just because everybody's going.
You're going ape shit for Creed.
Love it, Creed, dude.
Room.
Oh my god, that fuck.
Nah, I'm not gonna bother with that one. I missed it, and I'm not gonna circle back for that one. That's just it. That's Legend. That's the Tom Hardy one.
Yeah. Which else doesn't look good.
No. I have an award screener for that, and I just never bothered. Youth.
Oh.
I don't know if that's a re-release or not. That might be a re-release, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Man, a lot of 4K movies coming out. The Boy is getting a Blu-ray release. That's not the new one about the doll. It's the other one that came out in 2015 about the young child who is becoming a serial killer.
Gotcha.
The better one, I think.
The better one.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I'm seeing on here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of 4K releases coming out. So if you have a 4K TV, you can enjoy The Last Witch Hunter, Salt, San Andreas, Chappie, Expendables 3. There's so many great 4K movies that you can check out.
Salt. I forgot about Salt.
Oh, God. Anything on the Criterion front?
There is nothing.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing. They're taking a week off. Not quite sure, but taking that week off.
All right. In that case, I think that'll wrap it up for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. That's how we keep the show running, and we appreciate any support you could throw our way. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson, and we'll see you next week.